Hello and welcome. So just be hopefully a short little video, if I can keep it short, just kind of introducing my brand spanking new Trangia 27 in the hard ardennoised setup. I've had Trangias over the years, pretty much used them from when I was an army cadet moving forward all the way through to now. So over the past 20 plus years I've used Trangias over that period of time, but this is the first one I've actually bought brand spanking new for myself. I've had others I bought second hand off eBay or kind of adapted and modified for whatever needs I've had. So bought this off Amazon. Comes in nice neat little box. You can see there it's got the model number 1AH. On the back it shows you different kind of options. You've got the aluminium option, the stainless steel, the hard ardennoised ultralight, and the Ducale version, which is pretty much like an aluminium outer with a steel inner. So that might be something I might look for in the future. I quite like stainless steel. So before we start, one thing I thought I'd have a look at just out of interest is the kind of user manual. I normally go on about this when I work, about people using manuals and referring to manuals for correct information, and I thought practice what I preach. Let's have a look. I had a look through it, and actually it's quite a nice little read. It goes into aspects of the history of Trangia. It talks about the principles of the setup, about burners and fuels, as there are many options now. Also, one thing which I think is critical really is the care and maintenance of this kit. This kit is not cheap. Like with most things, camping, mountaineering, bushcraft, whatever you're into outdoors, the kit nowadays is not cheap, unless you kind of, even the army surplus stuff is starting to creep up in price. So the more you can look after your personal kit, the better it will look after you, and it will last longer. Enough said on that. Then in many different languages how to correctly set it up, which again I thought was a bit useful. And one thing I did like about it was at the very back there was an outdoor cooking section, and in that it covered 3 different meal options. Now Trangia is a Swedish company, and the third meal option, which we'll get to in a minute, I'm not convinced is a traditional Swedish option. I might be wrong. Chili con carne. I don't know the true origins of chili con carne, but it is nice. But again, another option. But that's the manual. So I always start off looking at the manual. Again, interesting little read. Even if you think, yeah, I know it all, it's always worth having a look at, because there might be something in there that you don't know, and if you learn something new, even if it's one thing, then it's done its job. That's the manual. Now when I bought this, it didn't come with this bag, but I thought let's go the whole hog, and I got the bag. Again, it's just a nice little nicety. Put that to one side. So that's how it comes in the pack. Now this is the ultralight version. Let's have a look. So I've set this to grams. 795 grams, which I don't think is too bad. In here there's no fuel. This is pretty much is as it was from the packet. Alright, I'm going to be using it this weekend hopefully. So quite a sturdy bit of kit. You can see it's completely ardennoised. Take the strap off. Put that to one side. Now it comes with an 18cm frying pan. Now most people, especially if they've got the non-stick version, will keep this. Comes with like a plastic insert inside here. They do recommend in the manual to leave it in there to protect the surface of the frying pan. Now I know what I'm like. I'll end up losing that or leaving it or throwing it out by accident, or just get minging. So I've decided not to do that. However, I've got the chopping board stroke strainer, which fits nicely over the section between the upper wind burner and the frying pan so it forms a protective seal, if not better than what the plastic wrapping would be, because it's quite thick. You can see there's the, I'll show you there is the upper, and once that's on, it's plastic against metal, no chance of it getting scratched up, hopefully. So that's the frying pan. We'll come back to this strainer later on. I'll leave it there. When you open it up, you get a lovely, I'd say, forearm length piece of plastic bag. Again, it's got safety information there about the burner. Standard issue pot grip. Not a lot can go wrong with that. Comes to the burner. Now, if you don't already know, this is the old simmer ring. Now, a bit like when you when you're cooking at home, and you turn your knobs for your if you've got a gas cooker, that is, and you turn your knobs to regulate how big or small the flame is. That's pretty much what this does. It regulates the heat and the flame available to reach the bottom of your pan. Also, it's good as a snuffer to put out the actual Trangia when you finish cooking with it. Alright, so enough said on that. The actual burner itself, again, this hasn't been used. Look at that, completely brand spanking new. Now, as a rule of thumb now, I do not store fuel in these. They also recommend you don't do that either. The reason being, for me personally, is the fact that once I put fuel in here, I'll forget about it. Next time I go to use it, it would corrode, get gunky, get minging, and then I have to clean it before I use it. And sometimes when you're on the mountains or you're outside somewhere and you need a quick brew or you need something to eat, last thing you need to do is start messing around with your kit and maintaining it before you can use it. Also, I'm also paranoid that one day I might not screw it up hard enough and it will leak over my kit. I do sometimes put them into a little kind of like a Tupperware box. It's got the old clip lock, but that's what I do now. Also, a terrible thing I used to do was, because I was so tight, when I put the flame out, I'd give it a minute or so, or sometimes 30 seconds, and chuck the cap back on to save venting of all the actual liquid. Stupid really, but that's what I did. And what I ended up doing was trashing the rubber seal. That rubber seal there is probably the only thing out of all this kit that would need to be replaced. Don't do that now. I use the correct method. Snuff it out if I need to, or let it burn dry. Alright, so that's the burner. Then I've got two 1 litre cooking pots. Now note that they'll only go in one way. That will not go in there, but it will go in there. Okay, these are both 1 litre. Again, for one person, because it's the actual Trangia 27 series, these are designed for 1 to 2 people. Alright. There are other Trangias out there. You've got the smallest one, which is like the Trangia Triangle, which is, I've got that as well. You've got the Trangia Mini, which is pretty much for one person, which is the 28T if I remember rightly. You've got this 27 and you've got the 25. It's a bit back to front. It's kind of the highest numbers of the smallest ones, but that's how they've done it for whatever reason. If you know, let us know why they do that. Then you've got your windshield. So this is the lower section. What I like about this is you've got a hole there to put through your liquid fuel nozzle. You've got a port there to put through your gas connection for regulating your gas flow from the burner you can put in there. So I have a liquid fuel burner, a gas burner, and the traditional Trangia burner. Now, something that I've learned over time is lighting these can be a problem if you've got the top shield on there. You can see there, if I was trying to light this with flint and steel, or ferrocerium, not flint and steel, but ferrocerium rod, maybe flint and steel, or a lighter, there's a good chance it's going to be restrictive because my hands are in the way. I could burn myself if it's a lighter. It's a pain in the backside, to be honest, yeah. So what I recommend, if the weather dictates, is once it's in there, light it, spark it, whatever way you want to do it, then put this on. Alright, that's just a little top tip. You might already do that, and if you do, wicked. Also, these little connections here will allow me to, in this mode, fit my frying pan. Again, if I've been cooking with this, I might not want to touch these, and I might want to use my pot grippers to knock them in. Again, speaking from experience, I've done that. I've used my hands and I've burnt myself. And then put your pots in. You can see the pots fitting nicely. It's a nice closed, tight fit. Okay, both pots. Lovely job. This is me not being able to get it out. There we go. So, again, if I need to extend them, just use your pot gripper to pull them out. So I've got a nice little burn from doing that once, and I wasn't impressed. So going back to the actual pot strainer, which I was on about earlier. Now, one good thing about this, and the reason why I bought it, two really. One, because it makes a nice little chopping board. Two, it allows me to strain my pots. So if you look at the back here, I put it on there, there's kind of rings indented into it, so I can put the pot on there, hear it click in, and then if I was cooking and needed to drain something, I could just, you see that from the side, look, drain it out. One thing that I do struggle with on, if I'm cooking pasta or whatever, is a decent strainer, so that's nice. And you can probably use that in other pots that you've got or use. The other thing I like about it is the fact that if I'm somewhere that's snowy or soft ground, or I need a bit of kind of surface area, believe it or not, it fits on the bottom of the actual windshield, which I think is good. So it's gone from having that much surface area, which would sink in, and potentially, if it's sunk in that much, if it's snowy for example, could raise up the pot, to an area now that is massive and will just increase the bearing pressure, or decrease the bearing pressure, sorry, on the ground, which I think is really useful. So you saw how easy it was to kind of just show you here. It's very easy to put away, as you can see there, look. I'm going to try and keep all this together. Because with it being a brand new set, I really do want to look after it. Not like I didn't look after my others, but they're not cheap. And I want to make sure it's kept in good working order. Now over time, I've got that many pots and pans, I will over time maybe add extra pans to it. Now I'm going out this weekend, so what I'm going to add to this is my Lifeventure titanium plate, which goes over that nicely, almost a perfect fit. What that will do, it will allow me to have another option, either as a frying pan, plate, or a lid. Now with fitting these, some people do struggle, alright, with fitting these for whatever reason. Alright, all you've got to remember is when it comes to fitting them through, just kind of angle them a little bit and they go through first time. Right. Some people do moan saying that, oh, they get stuck, they get driven into the other side. I do get that, it's happened to me. It's just happened now. Alright, all you've got to just make sure, just bend the end out a little bit and just make sure it slides through nicely. Alright, if over time these will start to get a bit frayed, a bit loose, all do is just kind of re-burn it in with a lighter and make it stiff again. feed it through, and then simply put it nice and tight. Now you could say, oh, making a bit of noise. Yeah, it is. I will probably add like a little wash kit in there, a sponge, whatever, to help dub it down. I even throw a little cloth in there for cleaning purposes. But yeah, that's it. The fuel I use for this mainly is the bioethanol fuel. I'm going to be using it this weekend. I've got a few meals I want to cook. So that's the Trangia 27. I've got all the other Trangias, and I'm going to do a little series just covering them all for people that don't know, or haven't had much use of them, or might need to know some information. Hope you found this useful. You got something from it, even if it's one thing. And yeah, Trangia 27. Thanks for watching.